Hey everybody. So what we did on Monday or Tuesday, depending on which class you're in, is we kind of looked at these patterns like this, and then we tried to see what the next figure would look like, and then eventually if we could graph them, and then what an equation would look like. So I'm going to show you what that looks like here, and then we're going to go through a couple examples. So let's move this guy up here. Here's the idea. In this first image, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares. In this second image, we have a 2 by 4, so 2 times 4 is 8, plus these 2 that are kind of sitting on the outside there, so that would be 10. On this image, the way that I'm counting this, we've got 3 by 5, which is 15, plus 16, plus 17, or plus 1 and 1, that gets us 17. So we're starting to see this pattern. The pattern goes 5, 10, 17. And I'm going to start right away by putting this into a table. And I'm going to say, first we have x, and then we have y. And in this case, x is just the figure number. So this first one, it would be figure 1. And there are 5 squares in figure 1. In figure 2, there are 10 squares. In figure 3, there are 17. And then the question that I asked most people was, what does the next figure look like? Like, what would figure 4 look like? And there are many different ways of seeing it, and some people saw it in different ways. I am just going to share the way that I tend to see it. I saw that there were always kind of 2 pink ones kind of sitting on the outside, so I'm just going to add those here. And then I noticed that this rectangle kind of in the center here, first it was 1 by 3, then it was 2 by 4, then it was 3 by 5. So I'm guessing since it was 1, 2, 3, this next side right here would be 4. And then since this goes 3, 4, 5, this next side right here would be 6. So I'm going to kind of fill that in so that looks correct. Kind of like that. Okay. So then we have 4 times 6 is 24, plus 2 gets us up to 26. So in the fourth figure, there are 26 squares. So the question is really kind of, if I keep going, and I can just keep drawing and drawing and drawing, but what if I want to skip a whole bunch of numbers? And I want to figure out what will figure 10 look like. And the question is just like how many there are going to be here. And that's kind of what we're getting at today when we're moving through these patterns is first of all, what is the pattern? That's the first thing. Secondly, what's moving, how do I generalize the pattern so that I can see a whole bunch more past where I currently am? One way of answering this question is we could just keep drawing, right? We could go, this is the first one, this is the second one, this is the third one, this is the fourth one. Just like I figured out the fourth one, we could figure out figure 5. But that feels like a lot of work to get all the way up to 10. And if this 10 becomes like 100, that's way a lot of work. So what I'm going to start looking for is I'm going to start looking for patterns, right? I noticed that to go from 5 to 10, I added 5. To go from 10 to 17, I added 7. To go from 17 to 26, I added 9. So here's a slightly faster way of getting there. Because I'm also noticing that here from 5 to 7, I added 2. From 7 to 9, I added 2. So my guess is that I'm going to add 2 here again. And to get the next image, I could say plus 11. So if I wanted to throw figure 5 in here, I could just add 11 to 26, so 26 plus 10 would get me 36, plus 1 more would get me 37. And this is probably going to be a little bit faster than just drawing everything out. But the other thing that I could do is if I could just take the figure number and be able to describe it, then that would also help me. So let's try doing that. In figure 10, I know I'm going to have those 2 blank spaces right here. And I also notice in figure 2, this was too long. In figure 1, this was too high. In figure 3, this was 3 high. So I'm guessing that in figure 10, this bit right here is going to be 10 wide. And then, since I also can see that in figure 1, this is 1, 2, 3. In figure 2, this is 2, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Figure 3, this is 5. If I just add 2, 3 plus 2 is 5. 2 plus 2 is 5. 1 plus 2 is 3. I should just be able to say this is 10 plus 2, or 12. And then I can figure out how many there are in figure 10. In figure 10, there's going to be 10 times 12. That's going to be the area of the rectangle. Plus 2 for this like cube right here and this cube right here. And so then 10 times 12, that is 120, plus 2, that would get me 122. So the idea here is to start using what we know about looking for patterns to not have to do all of everything and figure out what something would be farther down the line. We did this with a couple of other patterns, but for right now, I'm going to stop with this so that I can post this. I might add a couple more patterns as examples later today.